Mrs. Elliot, you told me about the canal, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you had Puck Mill in.
Yes.
When was that?
We went there in 1906.
Oh.
And in 1908 they had the canal all, well, they'd had a lot done, laid out thousands of pounds. And then they had the pounds done just out by our door. No sooner than that was done, it wasn't, well, in 1921 I think it was, they closed the canal after spending all that money because they hadn't had water in it.
No.
Well, then you see the boats that come up from Gloucester with a stone in them days. Of course, there wasn't the cars because there wasn't, but just started then, had they? And they'd come up there with a stone and get the other side of the tunnel. Well, of course, they did empty all those locks as they did go along. Look at the water they wanted. Well, then they had to wait the other side of the tunnel till all them locks did fill up again for them to swim into the lock, and then they did let the water out in the boat in the bottom and off go again.
There were two sorts of barges, were there then?
Oh, yes, there was the boat and the barge. The barge did go like, I think they'd go with a engine more, because I can't remember the donkeys going so much with the barges, but the boats is the donkeys did go with. The two donkeys onto one boat, and the boat would be out in the middle of the water, and then the dog would walk up the towing path. And of course there was boards on the lock gates as they could go over and open the lock gate. They had a paddle they did lift up for let the water out. And then the donkeys did pull, and the rope was on the towing path, and they had to steer the boat, of course, according to how the rope did go.
That's right. Now, when they got to Sapperton Tunnel, what happened to the donkeys then?
Did go over, right over to the Thames, just Thames Ed, but over by the tunnel, the public at the other end of the tunnel.
Tunnel in.
They had to take them over through the wood.
Mm.
And then when the boat did come out the tunnel, they did link up again and on to go again.
Now, how did they get through the tunnel then with the boat?
Oh, well, sometimes they did take them through, as I said, with the panels, like that. And sometimes they did lay on their back and get them through with their feet.
When you went on the barge, where was your journey from and to? Can you remember where you went to?
Lechlade Wharf to Bristol.
Did you actually go through Sapperton Tunnel yourself in a barge ever?
Oh, yes, we've been through there.
What was that like?
We used to put the donkeys in the barge, and Dad used to push us through. And then I had to help Dad wind up the wrenches, you call them, with the chains on, to help him swing the timbers, long tree trunks, onto the wharves. And then other times I've had to run on in front and unwind the locks or wind them up, ready for the barge to go through.
Did you? All on your own?
All on my own.
And you were how old then, do you say?
About 8-year-old then.
That's pretty good going, isn't it?
Yeah. And then to go and drive donkeys all night along the towing path when it was moonlight nights.
Drive them?
Yes, so Dad could get his bit of bonus money, see.